What if the real reason your erection weakens is not age, but a silent shift inside your body that no one ever explained to you? Imagine hearing from a doctor that your penis can respond in minutes when you activate the right internal trigger. Most men over 50 believe that slow, weak, or inconsistent erections are an unavoidable part of getting older, but the truth is that the physiology of sex is far more reactive and far more recoverable than they were ever told. And when you understand how this natural mechanism works, you unlock a level of intimate strength that feels almost immediate. As a urologist, what surprises me the most is how often men underestimate the power of simple biological adjustments. Your erection is not magic. It is the result of pressure, blood flow, nerve sensitivity, and muscle relaxation happening at the exact same moment. When just one of these elements is compromised, the penis cannot fill, cannot expand, and cannot stay firm. That is why so many men say they still feel desire, but the body no longer responds with the same intensity. The system is there, but the activation switch is stuck. Now here is the part that most men never hear from anyone. Your penis reacts incredibly fast when circulation is unlocked correctly. We are talking about a natural response that can happen in minutes, not hours, when you stimulate the muscular and vascular structures that feed the erection reflex. And this is exactly what the 3-minute method begins to do. It wakes up internal pathways that age, stress, and bad habits slowly shut down. When these pathways open, the penis draws blood like a vacuum and becomes firm with a stability that feels almost youthful. You may already have noticed moments when your erection suddenly felt stronger than usual without any clear reason. Those moments are not random. They reveal that your body is still capable of a powerful performance when the right conditions are present. And understanding these conditions is the key to turning occasional success into a consistent experience. You will see how small, precise adjustments create a chain reaction inside the body that leads to a faster and more reliable erection. Before we move forward, tell me something. Have you ever felt frustrated because your penis did not respond the way you expected during sex? If this content is making sense to you, leave a comment sharing your experience, give this video a like, and check if you are already subscribed so you do not miss the next explanations. What you will discover next may surprise you, and it sets the stage for the deeper steps ahead, guiding you toward a stronger and more confident intimate performance. When you look closely at how the male body produces an erection, you begin to understand why some men can recover firmness in minutes while others struggle for years without improvement. The erection reflex is triggered by a rapid biological sequence. The nerves send a signal, the arteries widen, the penis fills with blood, and the smooth muscles relax so the pressure stays inside. This chain is extremely sensitive. When any link weakens, the penis reacts slowly, loses strength, or fails to stay hard long enough. But the most surprising part is how quickly this sequence can be reactivated when the body receives the right stimulus. Inside the penis, the two main chambers responsible for erection behave like highly responsive containers. When the signal arrives, they expand, fill, and create the rigidity needed for penetration and sustained intimacy. Men over 50 often think their chambers have permanently lost this ability, but what really happens is that the blood flow and muscle response become inconsistent. Stress, aging, poor circulation, and low nitric oxide production slow down the entire system. The result is a penis that hesitates before becoming firm or fails to maintain pressure during sex. What many men never learn is that these chambers do not need perfect hormonal balance or extreme physical conditioning to work well. They need one thing above all: a strong, rapid expansion of blood flow. When this expansion occurs, the erection feels immediate, powerful, and stable. This is why techniques that stimulate circulation can create visible changes in just a few minutes. As the arteries open, nitric oxide rises and the smooth muscles relax, the penis becomes capable of filling quickly and maintaining that fullness with much more confidence. Another important factor is the responsiveness of the pelvic nerves. These nerves act as the ignition switch. When they are stimulated in the right way, the brain and the penis communicate more effectively, sending clearer signals and producing faster results. Many men believe that nerve sensitivity only declines with age, but in reality it is deeply affected by daily habits. Poor posture, tension in the hips, long hours sitting and shallow breathing weaken the electrical pathway that controls erection. Speed. When you learn how to release this tension and reactivate the pathway, you often feel a warm, pulsing sensation inside the pelvis, a sign that the erection mechanism is waking up again. This biological trigger explains why some men experience sudden moments of strong erections even after long periods of difficulty. The body has not forgotten how to respond. It simply needs consistent stimulation that aligns the arteries, nerves, and muscles at the same moment. And once this alignment begins happening more frequently, the erection becomes quicker and more forceful, giving the man a renewed sense of control and reliability. Understanding this internal chain is the foundation for everything that comes next, because the next steps build directly on this awakening of circulation and nerve responsiveness, allowing the penis to achieve firmness with greater ease and stability as we continue deepening the method. One of the most overlooked obstacles to a strong erection after 50 is a simple pattern of daily tension that men rarely notice but that silently restricts the flow of blood to the penis. Many men assume the problem is purely hormonal or that the body has simply lost the ability to perform. But in reality, the erection mechanism becomes blocked by habits that tighten the pelvic region, reduce nitric oxide, and weaken the smooth muscle response. The result is a penis that receives the signal for arousal but cannot translate it into a full and lasting erection. This disconnect often leaves men confused, because desire remains intact while the physical reaction becomes unreliable. A major contributor to this issue is chronic pelvic tension, something that builds slowly over years of sitting, shallow breathing, emotional stress, and a lack of proper circulation. When the pelvic floor stays tight, the arteries that supply the penis cannot open fully, and the pressure inside the chambers never reaches its peak. Many men only notice this tension when they try to become hard and feel the penis swell slightly but fail to reach the level of expansion needed for penetration. This partial response is not a sign of permanent decline, it is the direct effect of a mechanical blockage preventing blood from flowing freely. Another common mistake is ignoring the relationship between breathing and erection quality. Shallow breathing decreases the production of nitric oxide, which is the chemical responsible for widening the arteries during arousal. Without enough nitric oxide, the blood enters the penis too slowly, and the erection feels weak, unstable, or easily lost. This is why many men experience difficulty maintaining firmness during moments of anxiety or physical fatigue. The body simply cannot generate the internal pressure required to keep the penis hard. When breathing becomes deeper and more rhythmic, nitric oxide rises naturally, supporting a stronger and faster sexual response. Lifestyle habits also play a significant role. Poor posture, tight hips, low hydration, and irregular sleep patterns subtly alter circulation over time. Even mild inflammation in the lower abdomen can reduce nerve sensitivity and interrupt the signals that trigger the erection reflex. This is why some men feel that their penis only responds well on certain days. The internal environment changes constantly, and the smallest shift can influence how quickly the penis fills and how long it stays firm. The encouraging part is that these obstacles are almost always reversible. When tension is released, when circulation improves, and when the pelvic floor begins to function without chronic tightness, the erection mechanism becomes far more reliable. The penis fills more easily, the chambers expand more completely, and the man begins to regain the confidence he thought was lost. Understanding these hidden errors is essential, because correcting them prepares the body for faster, stronger erections that respond consistently as we continue. Refining the techniques introduced earlier, allowing the internal system to build momentum as the next steps unfold. The 3-minute method works because it targets the exact structures that control how quickly the penis fills and how firmly it stays erect. Instead of relying on external stimulation, it activates the internal mechanism that age and stress tend to silence. The goal is simple: increase blood flow, relax the smooth muscles inside the penis, and awaken the nerve pathway that triggers the erection reflex. When all three elements are stimulated together, the body responds with surprising speed, often within minutes. This is why many men notice a warm, expanding sensation in the lower pelvis as the process begins working. The first part of the method focuses on releasing tension from the pelvic floor. Men often carry tightness in this region without realizing it, which restricts the arteries responsible for filling the penis. To unlock this, start by placing one hand on the lower abdomen and taking slow, deep breaths that expand the belly outward. With each exhale, imagine the pelvic area softening and dropping. This simple adjustment increases nitric oxide and prepares the tissues for stronger blood flow. After several breaths, most men feel a subtle tingling around the base of the penis, a sign that circulation is beginning to shift. The second step is a targeted stimulation of the muscles that support the erection reflex. Gently contract the muscles used to stop the flow of urine. Hold for 2 seconds, then release completely. Repeat this rhythm for about 40 seconds. The purpose is not to tighten these muscles but to teach them to respond more efficiently. When they fire correctly, the penis draws blood more rapidly and the chambers expand with greater fullness. Men often notice that the penis becomes heavier or slightly swollen during this phase, an indication that pressure is building inside the erectile tissue. The final step directs blood specifically into the chambers of the penis. Using only the tips of the fingers, apply a light upward stroke along the base of the penis toward the midshaft. This should never be rough or aggressive. The goal is not arousal but mechanical encouragement of circulation. Imagine you are guiding the blood into the tissue rather than stimulating the surface. Continue this movement for about 1 minute, keeping the breathing deep and relaxed. As the blood begins to accumulate, the penis often becomes visibly fuller, and the internal pressure increases naturally. When these 3 steps are combined, they create a quick and powerful response because they align breathing, muscle activation, and vascular expansion all at once. Many men are surprised by how fast the change occurs when the technique is done correctly. Some feel the penis warming, others notice a slow rise in pressure, and others experience an almost immediate firmness. Each of these reactions shows that the internal system is waking up and preparing to support a stronger erection as the process continues moving forward. If you have ever tried anything similar or felt any change using natural techniques, share your experience in the comments. Your perspective may help other men understand their own bodies as we keep building on these steps and deepening the effects of this method. Understanding the right moment of the day to stimulate circulation can dramatically influence how quickly and how strongly your erection forms. The body moves through natural cycles of hormonal balance, vascular flexibility, and nerve readiness, and these cycles make certain hours far more favorable for sexual performance than others. Most men assume that an erection depends only on desire, but timing plays a powerful role in how the penis responds. When you align your efforts with the body's natural rhythm, the internal mechanisms become more reactive and the penis fills with greater speed and stability. One of the most effective windows for activating intimacy is early morning, when the body naturally produces higher levels of nitric oxide and testosterone. Even if a man no longer experiences consistent morning erections, the internal chemistry during those hours still supports faster blood flow and more efficient muscle relaxation. This means that techniques practiced in the early part of the day often create stronger results with less effort. Many men notice that when they use the 3-minute method, shortly after waking, the penis reacts more predictably, swelling with warmth and pressure more quickly than at other times. Another favorable moment occurs in the early evening, when the muscles are more flexible after a full day of movement and the cardiovascular system is more active. This flexibility helps the arteries open wider and allows the pelvic floor to release tension more easily. Men who struggle with stiffness in the hips or lower back often find that their erections are weaker at Night due to accumulated tension, but when the body has been warmed throughout the day, the pelvic region becomes more cooperative. This creates an ideal environment for encouraging blood flow into the erectile chambers. Stress levels also influence timing more than most men realize. High stress reduces nerve sensitivity and restricts circulation, creating a physical barrier even when desire is strong. That is why moments of calm, such as after a warm shower or during quiet breathing exercises, often lead to a more responsive penis. The body interprets these calm states as safe conditions, allowing the vascular system to shift from protection mode to expansion mode. When this happens, the penis becomes far more receptive to internal stimulation, and the erection forms with greater ease. Hydration and digestion further enhance the ideal timing. When the body is well hydrated, blood moves through the arteries more efficiently, improving the pressure needed for firmness. Likewise, when digestion is not overactive, such as between meals, the body can direct more energy towards circulation rather than processing food. This explains why many men experience weaker erections after heavy meals but stronger responses during lighter periods of the day. Aligning your practice with these physiological cues amplifies the effects of the technique and prepares the penis to respond consistently as the rest of the method builds momentum. As you begin paying attention to these natural rhythms, you will notice predictable patterns in your erection quality. These patterns are not random, they reflect how ready your internal system is to support a strong sexual response. Working with these rhythms rather than against them strengthens the body's ability to generate firmness as we continue refining the process and deepening the results that follow. As the body begins responding more quickly to circulation cues and nerve stimulation, the next step is creating a stable internal environment that supports strong erections on a daily basis. Many men think they need drastic changes to see improvement, but in reality, the most powerful results come from small adjustments that consistently reinforce the erection mechanism. These corrections influence pressure, oxygen delivery, hormonal balance, and pelvic mobility, forming the foundation that allows the penis to swell with blood more easily and maintain firmness with less effort. One of the most impactful habits is improving the depth and rhythm of breathing throughout the day. Deep breathing increases nitric oxide, which acts as the primary messenger that tells the arteries inside the penis to widen. When breathing stays shallow, nitric oxide remains low, and the erectile chambers struggle to fill completely. Even short moments of deep inhalation, performed several times during the day, lift oxygen levels, reduce tension around the pelvis, and prepare the smooth muscles for stronger relaxation. Over time, this kind of breathing becomes automatic, amplifying the body's natural readiness for sexual performance. Posture also plays a critical role in maintaining erectile strength. When the hips tilt forward and the lower back compresses, the nerves that control the penis become restricted. Blood flow through the femoral and pelvic arteries also becomes less efficient. By adjusting the spine to a neutral, upright position, the pelvis opens, the nerves regain responsiveness, and circulation improves noticeably. Many men report that simply standing or sitting with better alignment makes the penis feel warmer, heavier, and more reactive long before any direct stimulation occurs. Hydration supports these changes by improving blood viscosity. When the body is slightly dehydrated, the blood becomes thicker and harder to move into the erectile chambers. Adequate hydration allows blood to travel more smoothly, creating stronger internal pressure and making it easier for the penis to expand. The difference may seem subtle at first, but when combined with deeper breathing and better posture, hydration amplifies the overall strength and speed of the erection. Another vital adjustment is reducing periods of prolonged sitting. Long hours in this position compress the perineum, weaken circulation, and tighten the pelvic floor. Standing up every hour, stretching the hips, or walking briefly restores movement to the lower body and prevents the buildup of tension that interferes with sexual response. These small interruptions reset the body, ensuring that the pelvic region remains flexible enough to support rapid blood flow later in the day. The final layer involves choosing foods that naturally support vascular health. Foods rich in nitrates, antioxidants, and healthy fats enhance nitric oxide production, improve artery elasticity, and help maintain balanced hormone levels. When these foods are eaten consistently, the penis becomes more responsive and the expansion of the erectile chambers feels more complete. All these corrections work together, each reinforcing the next. They prepare the internal system to react quickly, making the 3-minute method even more effective as we move toward integrating these elements into a daily routine that supports stronger, more reliable erections with growing confidence. As these adjustments begin weaving themselves into your daily life, something important starts to happen inside your body. The erection no longer depends on chance, mood, or unpredictable physical reactions. Instead, your system becomes primed, almost trained, to respond quickly whenever stimulation appears. Many men describe this stage as a sense of renewed confidence because the penis begins to behave in ways they thought were no longer possible. The blood enters faster, the pressure builds more completely, and the firmness feels stable enough to support a satisfying sexual experience. What changes is not only the physical response but the way a man relates to his own body. He starts to feel present again, capable again, alive again. This journey works because it realigns the biological mechanisms that age and stress quietly weaken. The breathing supports nitric oxide, the posture frees the pelvic nerves, the technique awakens the erectile chambers, and the timing amplifies the body's natural rhythm. Each small piece strengthens the next until the entire system begins functioning with surprising fluency. The penis grows more responsive, the warmth returns, and the sensation of fullness becomes easier to achieve. Little by little, these moments accumulate, creating a new baseline of sexual vitality that reflects not only physical readiness but emotional reassurance. Men often realize at this point that the connection between mind and body becomes much clearer. As the erection becomes more consistent, the tension that once created doubt begins to dissolve. Moments that used to trigger uncertainty now feel manageable, because the body responds with greater reliability. This stability reshapes intimacy, allowing closeness to feel less pressured and more natural. When the penis reacts quickly and stays firm without excessive effort, intimacy becomes something to anticipate with comfort rather than worry. The experience shifts from performance to connection, from hesitation to presence. By integrating these practices, you are not just supporting a stronger erection, you are building an internal environment that protects your long-term sexual vitality. Circulation improves, muscle coordination strengthens, nerve sensitivity rises, and the feeling of masculine energy returns with more force. As these elements continue reinforcing each other, the results deepen, creating a cycle of improvement that can sustain itself with simple, consistent habits that honor how the male body naturally functions. If you have reached this point and the message resonated with you, leave a comment saying something simple like "I stayed until the end so I know you are walking this path with me." If this content added clarity or confidence, give the video a like and consider subscribing so you can continue receiving guidance that supports your sexual health. There is a video here that expands on another essential part of this process, so click and keep moving forward with me while this momentum is fresh and your body is ready for the next step.